Why do some Spanish speakers say vos instead of tú? Maybe you've heard it in Argentina, Uruguay, or even parts of Central America and thought like, wait, what? Isn't tú the normal way to say you in Spanish? Well, not everywhere, so let's break it down. Hola a todos, soy Mariana and welcome back to our channel. According to neticmexico.org, vos is just another informal way to say you in some countries like Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Costa Rica, and even some regions in Venezuela. It's called voceo, and this is not new. It goes all the way back to colonial times, when Spanish was spreading across Latin America and each region started developing its own style. So just like tú, you use vos with friends, family, or people your age. But here's a huge difference. Vos has its own conjugations. And this is when Spanish learners start to get curious about this voceo. So for example, in the present tense, instead of saying tú hablas, people using vos say vos hablas. Some other examples are tú comes versus vos comes. Tú vives versus vos vivís. Can you see the difference? The accent on the last syllable changes everything. And when people give orders or commands, that also changes. So for example, instead of saying habla with tú, they say habla with vos. Instead of saying come, they say come. Instead of saying vive, they say viví. And maybe right now you're feeling a bit overwhelmed because you might be thinking that you need to learn like more conjugations in Spanish for like the future tense, the subjunctive, the imperfect, and all of those tenses, right? But no, don't worry. I have some good news for you because vos and tú usually stay the same in those tenses. So the big distinctions are in the present tense and when you use the imperative mood, meaning when you give orders or commands to others. So don't worry. In Argentina and Uruguay, vos is basically everywhere. You can see it in ads, you can listen to it on the radio, on the TV, and of course in everyday conversation. And by the way, if you're interested in learning Argentinian Spanish, check out this video in our channel. Now, in Central America, vos is used basically like among friends or family or in like rural contexts, but tú is still like your best choice if you want to sound like more neutral. So if you're learning Spanish for general purposes, I would highly recommend you to stick to the tú, because otherwise you're going to sound a bit weird, and this has a lot to do with culture, so you have to take that into account. If you start using vos out of the blue in, I don't know, in Mexico or in another place that doesn't use vos, people are going to look at you like, okay, is this person crazy? Did this person learn like in Argentina or Uruguay or Central America? And well, if you start using that voceo the wrong way, well, it's not going to work. So just try to stick to the tú. But well, if you want to sound like more natural and as if you learned with Argentinians or people from Uruguay, you can use vos. But remember, this has a lot to do with culture. So my advice would be to just avoid the vos. Just understand it. Don't adopt it. Now, this is important. Don't confuse vos with vosotros. They're completely different things. Vos is a singular you in Latin America instead of tú, while vosotros is a plural you, like you all, that's used in Spain. In Spain, nobody uses vos. And in Latin America, you'll rarely hear someone saying vosotros. Only if it's someone from Spain, someone who moved to Latin America, or someone who's traveling. So what about you? Have you ever heard vos in real life? Would you like to learn how to use it? Or do you prefer to stick with tú? Let me know in the comment section. I would love to hear your opinion on this topic. And again, credit to neticmexico.org for their great explanation on the voceo. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and if you're interested in personalized coaching to really understand how Spanish works and become fluent in that language, make sure to book a free consultation at Spanish 825. And don't forget to check out our podcast, Conquering Spanish, to learn even more about all of these cultural things in Spanish. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hasta pronto!